When we lived in London, down in Hayes, you would never see stars at all, and the sort of the glow all the time from the lights. Here in Wendover, we do see them a little bit more. And Paul and I were very lucky during my sabbatical to go to Morocco and go out into the desert, which was just incredible to see the starlight there. But there was one night when we were at Chipping Norton and we were going out, and we suddenly looked up in the sky and could see some lights. And we were a bit like, they were a line. There were about 4 lights. And we thought, are they helicopters? But they were almost too close together. We weren't quite in the right place, so RAF Benson's a bit further down. There's not many places around. It was a bit eerie, a bit sort of unnerving, trying to work out what it actually was. Off we went out. When we got back, Paul Googled. The wonders of Google. And found that actually it was something to do with Elon Musk. It was was it Starlink. And the satellites that were just happened to be there up in the sky at that particular moment. So, let's say, all a little bit unsettling. What's that like for the wise men when they saw the star, and the one that they knew that meant that they were needing to follow it? They would have known lots and lots about the stars, but known that this one was different. They recognized its significance and set out in faith to discover what new event was taking place. And of course, as we know the story, it brought them to unexpected places. Firstly to Jerusalem and King Herod, and then on to Mary, Joseph and baby Jesus in an ordinary house in an ordinary village. And those wise men or magi, however many they were, the tradition is 3 because of the gifts, but who knows how many travelled together. They were warmly welcomed despite being Gentiles from another land, those who would have been rejected by so many. They were the ones who opened up Christ's presence to all people, not just to the Israelites. And so we continue, after more than 2,000 years, to marvel at this story told at Epiphany that reveals so much to us time and time again. It's flashing at me. It's all right, Matthew, it's come back. We continue to be astonished and amazed at what these travellers undertook and carried with them to show everyone who this baby was, as if the angels in the sky hadn't done so already. The gifts that they brought of gold and frankincense and myrrh represented who Jesus was and the role he would play as a humble leader, whose birth, of course, was of universal significance, and whose death would free all people from death itself. The victory of good over evil that comes with the birth, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ was signalled by those magi, as I say, in an ordinary place with ordinary people. I've used Malcolm Guite's sonnets, and I know David has as well. Malcolm Guite is a poet and singer-songwriter. He lives in Cambridge. He's a priest. He's a chaplain to one of the colleges. He teaches, he writes. And if you've ever seen a picture of him, he's got a mass of grey hair and a great big beard. I mean, if you think of Rowan Williams and double the amount of hair and double the amount of beard, that's Malcolm Guite. But he does write some profound material for many of the seasons through our church's year. And a few years ago, he wrote this, which he called the Magi. It might have been just someone else's story. Some chosen people get a special king. We leave them to their own peculiar glory. We don't belong. It doesn't mean a thing. But when these three arrive, they bring us with them. Gentiles like us. Their wisdom might be ours. A steady step that finds an inner rhythm. A pilgrim's eye that sees beyond the stars. They don't know his name, but still they sought him. They came from otherwhere, but still they found. In palaces they found those who sold and bought him, but in the filthy stable, hallowed ground. Their courage gives our questing hearts a voice, to seek, to find, to worship, to rejoice. And now for us, what does it mean to live lives that continue to contribute to bringing God's kingdom here on earth, to continue to seek what those magi sought? Isn't it not true that every action of our daily lives matters? Every decision we make for right or wrong, every good word spoken, every helpful deed undertaken, all contributes towards the final victory of God's kingdom. It's easy for us to underestimate the effects of what we do or what we say as we go about our daily lives. It only is 2 weeks ago since it was Christmas Eve and into midnight. I've written, at Christmas we spoke about Christ being the light of the world and shining that light into the dark places. Just as the events in a small village of Bethlehem changed the shape of the universe, the contributions that we make, every little act, every loving word, every prayer counts. Last week, if you were here, Nadine spoke about taking action in the new year, in this year of 2024. What does our world look like? Who's welcome and who is not? You think of the pain and the anger that we quite often feel as we watch the news and are aware of the suffering for so many. What action can we take, individually and collectively? One of the things that I know we need to do as a church community is to be far more proactive within our own community and to be out there working alongside others to make a difference. We can also get involved in campaigns about things that matter, locally, nationally, and internationally. We keep saying this, and we really need to do something about it. How can we shine as the star did, leading others to the Christ child? Should we be surprised by those who come along? How do we welcome them? I wonder, if you read the update, did you read the numbers that came through the doors from our carol service until Christmas morning? Nearly 1,600, and that was 250 at the carol service, over 500 on the Monday when the children from school came with their parents. 350 outside on Christmas Eve, about 100 at midnight, and somewhere around 140 on Christmas morning. Those people are seeking something, wanting to find out more about who Christ is. How do we help to make a difference in their lives? What gifts do we share? What gifts do we bring? Are we sharing them to make us feel better, or are we sharing them to glorify God, to give thanks for all he provides for us, and to help others to see who Christ is? The words Tim read at the end of that gospel reading are, we too are led to Christ, It's not a play. It's not a story that we just tell year after year and then forget about. There are great risks in placing your whole trust in Christ's love. There are dangers in the journey, but we do not travel alone. That's what this whole thing is about. God with us, Emmanuel. God has chosen to be very present to us in all that we say and do, and we aren't alone. In a moment or two, the music group are going to sing, Lord, You Have My Heart. And I'd like you to ask yourself, what can I do in 2024 to be as the Magi? What gifts can I bring? What welcome can I make in this place, in my life? How can I shine, as the Isaiah reading reminds us? To arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. See, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples. But the Lord rises upon you, and his glory appears over you. Those are Old Testament words, but are so important for us today. While the song is being sung, you may wish to just sit and listen and think, or you may wish to come up and light a candle to help spread the light. Or you may wish to come and take a star, there are some post-it note stars there, to write down a reminder to yourself of what you thought, or something that you may want to share with us as we think as a community how we can shine that light. Malcolm Guite's sonnet ended with, their courage, the Magi's courage, gives our questing hearts a voice to seek, to find, to worship, to rejoice. There are always notices. Really to say that things are starting up again. Tomorrow morning, Sparklers will happen, 10 till 11:30. That's our sort of parent, carer, toddler group. You'll be very welcome if you're around and just want to pop in for a coffee or talk to people. So Nadine leads that. She's always looking for people to join the rota as well. So do please have a chat with her. On a Thursday morning at 10 o'clock, we always have a service of communion, which is said, but with a sort of homily sermon in it as well. So please remember that happens. And then I think this week, I'm looking at Trish, at 4 o'clock, people gather usually in our sort of lady chapel to pray, and again, everyone is welcome to join them for that. Next Saturday, there's a concert in church. It's raising money for Rennie Grove, so the notice about was on the update, but there's also one on the board if you're interested in that. If anybody has a moment or two to stay, there's coffee and tea and biscuits, so please join us for that. But there are red chairs dotted around church that were here from over Christmas that need to make their way to the shed, and Pete would be very grateful for anybody to help to do that. I think that is everything. So, sorry? Oh, thank you. Sorry. Good noise from the back. If you are wanting to stretch your legs this afternoon, Michael and Carol, who are at the back there, are leading a walk that will leave here at 2 o'clock. Are you going on the canal? Yeah. Right, so they're going... Okay, right. So the walk will leave here, go along the new path along the canal, and then we'll be calling into Dobby's Garden Centre for tea and cake, and then walk back. So if you want to do that, you want to know anything more, talk to Michael and Carol, but it looks like it's going to be dry, so do enjoy coming there. And that's something that happens every month, first Sunday of the month, or thereabouts. So again, ways to join with people and to enjoy that.